What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and sorry for the fact that I did not get a chance to upload a video earlier today. Uh, but as I'm making it a rule of, if I'm not consistent by putting up a video one day, then the very next day, not only would I put the video up for that day, but I'll put two videos up for the previous day. So we're getting two videos today. But in this video, we're doing another character ranker. I hope you guys enjoy. We are going to be looking at the live adaptation of Chun-Li, which is the second iteration, I believe, of Chun-Li, and this is from the 2009 Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li movie. The one that was bad, but not as bad as the 1994 Street Fighter film, which was fucking atrocious. But this time around, the character is played by Kristin Kreuk. And if you don't know her, she plays in that television show Beauty and the Beast, but she's more commonly known from the Smallville series as Lana Lane. Yeah, Lana Lane. Um, One of the many love interests of Clark Kent, of course. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, how... and she's the video game character. Everybody knows Street Fighter. Everybody knows Chun-Li. Chun-Li is one of the most prominent characters in the Street Fighter franchise, as well as pretty much one of the most iconic and kind of the face of it. So usually when you think of Street Fighter, you think of Akuma, Ryu, and Chun-Li. So you get. Let me go ahead and read that out to y'all who Chun-Li actually is. She is one of the main characters of the Street Fighter franchise, and she's the first female to be featured in being featured in Street Fighter 2. She's an expert martial artist and an Interpol officer who's seeking revenge against M. Bison for the death of her father. And, of course, throughout the film, that's basically her main motivation. Her father gets snatched up by M. Bison's henchmen. Never see this fool again. So she's looking out and she wants revenge for this. Now, in terms of the actual differences from the source material, I would say that as far as the motivation for the character is handled, okay, yes, it kind of makes sense. Now, I will say I really would have wanted to have seen more of the actual M. Bison actually kicking her dad's ass, but he's still responsible nonetheless. But in terms of the actual source material, there is some things they did right as far as her. But at the same time, there's a lot of things they didn't do right as far as the character is concerned. One of the things is she's Interpol, which gives her a lot of leeway. Not really a lot of leeway. It gives her the opportunity to meet all of these various fighters across the planet. And that's how she ends up meeting Colonel Major Gao. But in the film, she isn't that. She's just... I don't want to say she's homeless. I don't know what she is. All I know is she's just running around and she's just running and kicking people's butt. And I don't know what to say. And as far as just like the actual, I mean, there's a lot of differences, but I guess so. Is the character good? The character's all right. She's pretty cool, but she doesn't really have the personality. When I'm watching it, it's like, am I seeing Chun-Li on screen? And to some extent, yes, it kind of feels like you're actually watching Chun-Li. It's kind of like almost a believable Chun-Li. But at the same time, it's not really a deep Chun-Li, so you don't really give two shits about like her actual character. You kind of like to see her fight and everything. You like seeing her beat up bad guys and stuff. But you don't actually feel like you're actually fully watching Chun-Li. Now, this isn't discredit to Kristin Kreuk, because I think she is a really good cast for the character, but I just think her character was written pretty poorly. Yes, revenge was like the one thing on her mind, but I'm like, okay, that does not make for a compelling or interesting character. You got to give her some more interesting quirks. And in fact, one of the things I didn't like about the movie is she didn't lose, so there was like no development for her character to get stronger or anything like that. She's kicking everybody's butt. So, and like I said, I do like the character to a certain extent, but I don't just think it's like the end all be all character. She's like one of those characters I was like, I would have liked to seen them do it. Let me get a little bit larger. There we go. I would have liked to see them give her more of a deeper role, so you can actually get to know the character outside of just fighting. But as far as the movies go, you don't really care about the character outside of the fighting. So, and like I said, she's not particularly written well. She's like, those really cheesy revenge movies, like Charles Bronson and Dirty Harry, and all of those revenge movies and stuff that used to come out in like the 80s and 70s and stuff like that, and 90s was kind of like that. I mean, it's like cool, but it doesn't make, doesn't give you a lot of depth to the character because they're just going around kicking everybody's butt. So in terms of the actual character itself on screen, it was okay, but I wish there was a little bit more to her. Now, does Kreuk do a good job of the character? I think she did the best that she could do with what she was working with. Like I said, I think she was a good cast as Chun-Li. Problem is, just the movie doesn't do a good enough job of actually exploring that character. And like I said, she's a perfect cast. Like if I could actually see if they were to reboot the Street Fighter series, that they would introduce her character, I would definitely cast her as Chun-Li. She has the look of the character. She has the feel of the character. She's fine as hell. She actually can. I guess I believe she has the potential to get down and learn how to do a bit of martial arts to actually fill the role. So I have no problem with her being cast, and I really don't have too much of a problem with the performance. And like I said, she's freaking awesome. Yes, really the only thing that I've actually known her from, yes, is Beauty and the Beast, but I mostly know her from Smallville. And this Smallville, of course, most of the stuff she didn't do like ass kicking role or anything like that. So except for that one thing, time she turned into that the few times when she went bad, when she was bad, she was actually kicking butt and stuff. But that was like 3 times. So, well, actually, in the later seasons, she started doing some pretty cool stuff too. But anyways, I don't really see any of her other roles that she's been in to actually support her in this. But I think it's pretty cool that she took a leap to play such an established character. And like I said, her performance isn't the problem. It's just the movie is just a poorly written movie. But I have no problem with Kreuk actually playing a character of, again, Chun-Li. Now, in terms of the actual design, if you were looking for her to run out and just use the kimono-ish design from the video games, you're not going to get that in this movie. You're going to get something, one moment where she puts her hair up in balls and stuff, and that's the picture right there. But you're not going to actually get to see her wear her traditional Street Fighter Chun-Li outfit that she's known for. And I'm glad that they didn't do that because, for one thing, I think it's cool looking. It's like one of those ideas that's cool on paper, but in real life it doesn't make any sense. I mean, think about the original chick that played in 1994 Street Fighter. She looked like a prostitute. And I'm glad that they didn't really go that way with her in this film. Now, I'm not going to lie. The little green dress outfit that she wore in a club, yes, she looks like a freaking prostitute. But I can honestly say that I think it was a good idea that they didn't go that route by trying to just go straight video game with the character, because like I said, a lot of translations from video games and anime and stuff do not mesh well with real life, because in real life people would not wear that stuff. So when you're actually watching them make the stuff real, it doesn't make any sense for them to wear that stuff. So that's why I'll say I'll have no problem with this film actually just having her just wearing everyday stuff. Now, I will say, yes, I was a bit disappointed. I kind of wish at some point she might have worn it. Maybe she went to the club and the girls that were dressed like that, and she ended up wearing that, so that's why she was wearing it. I was like, okay, I could actually go with that. But in terms of the actual like character design, yes, she looks like Chun-Li, but you'll never get a moment in this movie where she's like, okay, that's the Chun. She's wearing the iconic Chun-Li outfit. So there is that. Now, in terms of the actual fighting and everything, I think she does a good enough job. But between like the editing, which shitty sometimes, and through some of the forced writing, because she's essentially kicking everybody's butt and really having no problem doing it, and that's always a problem in a movie. I've never liked the movie where a person beat everybody, never took a hit. That's why I don't like watching Steven Seagal movies, because the man does not freaking ever get hurt, except for that one movie Machete where he got killed. But it may be another movie where he got nicked on the shoulder or something. I don't know. But as far as her in the martial arts, I think she does a good enough job. But I would have liked to see it be a little bit feel more organic and less choreographed. Because think about it, the one sequence that you wanted to see her, the one thing you want to see her do is the little spinning bird kick that she's, again, the iconic character is known for. But you're not going to get that in this film. You do get something similar to it during the fight sequence in the club when she does do a spinning kick, but it isn't like the one that we all wanted to see. And it would have been pretty cool to see her do it like maybe once or twice in a movie, like the full on thing. And yes, the woman obviously can't do it in real life, and it's probably not a easy a move that's worth actually doing. But because there's some moves that you can do in the game that's pretty cool. In real life, it's not really that effective. Or it's really hard to pull off. But you get something that's about half that, and it's cool. But even one of my biggest issues was even like the fight with Bison. I didn't like that fight because at one point he was beating the hell out of her. No, she was beating the hell out of him most of the time. And then he landed like 2 licks on her and then had on the ropes, and then she got back to beating him up again. So I didn't really like that particular bit toward the character. Now, some of the things that I wish she could have done a little bit better towards it is, again, have a bit more of emotional story to the character. Yes, her father's died and she's dealing with it. Yes, she's dealing with all these various people, but the movie is made clearly to be just like a fighting movie. So you're not going to get enough depth of character. And yes, there are some characters. There's some obviously some subplots that's going on, such as I think it was the Interpol guy that was actually chasing her, or some policeman guy that was actually chasing her. And I was like, I don't care about that guy. I don't care about anything. I kind of just want to see her like develop as a character. I want her to do this because I don't mind her going to go fight his best fighters and then go fight him. Fine, but it's just the movie, the way it's done with all these various subplots, characters that really aren't interesting, it just kind of takes away from her. Now, I will say this, there were 2 actresses that I came up with that I said I would love to have seen them play the role. And I think they would have did a fantastic job. And I'm quite sure everyone would agree with me that one of those actresses should be Zhang Ziyi. Zhang Ziyi is kind of aged now. She's about in her late 30s, maybe early 40s. But she is an accomplished actress. She's like, what was it? At one point, she was like a part of the big 3, the big 4, the big 5 Asian actresses. Like every movie, she like all these cool, great blockbuster movies. It was like one of 5 people. One of these 5 women was in. She was one of those 5. So she did hit that height. She's been known to, and everybody knows her, especially in America, from the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie. I like from House of Flying Daggers, The Grandmaster. What's that one with the girl, the chick? Memoirs of a Geisha. So, of course, Rush Hour 2. Like, Zhang Ziyi has been in a lot of great martial arts roles, and she would easily fit the role as Chun-Li. And she's still, even now, she's still got a little age on. She still has a youthful look to her. So I would not mind casting her as Chun-Li either. Now, another one is somebody I'm fairly getting to know a little bit more of, and that is Jessica Henwick. Now, I did Jessica Henwick as Katana, and I definitely would recommend that Jessica Henwick could take over as Chun-Li. I really enjoyed her in Game of Thrones. I really enjoyed her in, of course, the MCU. In Iron Fist, she was one of my favorite characters. She definitely shows that she has acting chops, but also has a great physical presence as well, especially when it comes to the martial arts. So I would definitely say either one of those chicks, if they were to recast, would definitely fit the role. Now, in terms of how important the character was in the movie, she is pretty important because the story is about her. The problem to me, I feel like, again, the movie does focus on her, but it doesn't give you enough development of the character. It doesn't give you any depth to the character outside of I want to kill Bison for killing my father, or at least find out what the hell happened to my dad. And so it's like it kind of works, but it doesn't work. And plus, it's at that point where, like I said, I'm never like one of the problems with the movie is she doesn't lose until like she loses like one fight with one part of the fight with Bison, but she ended up winning. And like when she fought Vega, like everybody she fought in the freaking movie. One of the fights weren't really that memorable. That was one thing. They felt more stylish and more choreographed. And then a lot of times, like the people that she fought really weren't like super badass fight, like actual martial artists like that. So, of course, it's not going to be a memorable fight between her and them. So, I wish the fights would have been a lot more better and more memorable. Because at this moment, like I said, the only thing I remember out the movie, basically with any of the damn fights, pretty much, is the one part where she did the fake spinning bird kick thing in the club, and then the one part where Bison punched her and did some kind of delay with the punch that knocked her off her feet. And not to mention how she beat him with that bamboo stick. So, but and then really the other characters, they just felt like they felt secondary, and they didn't feel like it did anything for the film. They didn't do anything towards her character development. And I hate the fact that the movie left off with them talking about like Ryu was going to beat, like she wanted to go challenge Ryu, and Ryu is like this up and coming legendary fighter and stuff. It was cool, but it kind of sucked. But like all the other characters didn't really do anything for her. They didn't bring anything interesting out of a character. They didn't really see. And yes, there were some moments of challenge to the character, but it didn't do anything for like overall character development. So there really wasn't anything on that for me. So what do I think about Kristin Kreuk as Chun-Li? I say she does a good enough job. Unfortunately, the movie just didn't give her the opportunity to actually be the character and personality, or with the martial arts. Yes, you get to see her do some fights and stuff, but they weren't impactful. They aren't memorable. You're not going to walk around and say, yeah, she definitely owns that role. She is a good Chun-Li, don't get me wrong. The problem is the movie just doesn't give you a badass Chun-Li. So how would I rank Kristin Kreuk as Chun-Li? I'd give her personally a 3 out of 5. Now the movie deserves like a 2 out of 5, but I would give her a 3 out of 5. I think she's good, and I think if they were to redo the movie or reboot the series and cast her again with a director that gives a shit, a writer that gives a shit, and somebody that can help her with the martial arts, we can definitely be on point with the character. But as far as me, my impressions of her, I actually like her as Chun-Li. So guys, in the comment section below, let me know, what are your thoughts about Kristin Kreuk as Chun-Li? Do you think that she could have that she fit the role? Do you not think she fit the role? Or are there some things you think that she could have done better in the film? And also, I know that a lot of people didn't like the film, but let me know if you like the film or not. And be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later.